How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews. Back to another review. A little bit of American-born Belgian beerness. And today's Massive Beer Review in the form of Barrel Monks Brewing's. It's their Barrel of Monks Father Christmas Holiday Ale. Barrel Monks. One beer from them I've had. I reviewed it. It was their Grand Cru. Didn't hate it, but it didn't blow me away. It definitely tasted like an American-born Belgian beer. The candy sugar came off more like brown sugar. It just kind of lacked a little bit of kind of fluffiness and density to it, and just kind of, I have this thing that I talk about, this Belgian soul that I talk about, and some breweries can really nail it. It just didn't do it for me, but that was one beer. Okay, time to give another one a whirl. That one I actually got from Ralph from Florida. This one comes from Ralph from Florida too. Thank you very much, dude. Super excited to give it a whirl because I love Belgian beers and I love Christmas Belgian beers. So what are we looking for here? We're looking for, a kind of Belgian dark double kind of vibe combined with the typical spices you get with the Belgian winter beers. You talk about, think about gingerbread beers except without the ginger. You're getting your clove, you're getting your nutmeg, you're getting, cinnamon maybe a little bit in there. You're getting these kind of peppery spices. So, gingerbread houses without ginger. Typically, that's what you're looking at. As far as what it says on here, it says Barrel Monks Brewing Father Christmas Holiday Ale. Boca Raton, Florida, they're out of. Belgian-inspired holiday ale, 10% alcohol by volume. I think the last one I had was 10% too. Holiday ales are a big deal in Belgium. Most major breweries there brew one, most often spiced brown ales. In that tradition, we present to you Father Christmas, this dark ale made with the finest European malt and hops, fermented with a classic Belgian yeast strain, and gently spiced with holiday spices to invoke the feeling of sitting around a fire during the holidays. It is made slowly and carefully with a long maturation time to allow flavors to fully develop. Spicy aromas complement the slightly sweet malt backbone to create complex but balanced beer that we hope will add to your happiness during the holiday season. Happy holidays from Barrel Monks. It says here port 15317. I don't know what that means. This is beer's bottle condition, and we'll have a small layer of yeast. And that'd be that. Label-wise, it's cool. Kind of champagne style label. You know what I mean? And a bit of wax up top. The other one didn't have wax. I don't think it was foil topped, I believe. But yeah, this is pretty thick wax. This is typically what you see out of a lot of barrel-aged beers. I was surprised to find this in just a base Belgian beer. What could that mean? What could the wax mean? Could mean they're just like waxing beers. Could mean they, more times than not, when you see a Belgian brewery or someone that makes kind of non-hop forward stuff, wax stuff, they're kind of telling you, okay, you should age this. Or it's ageable, rather than you should age this. Or it's barrel aged. I mean, that's typically the thing. Or the other thing could be overcarbonation. They gotta have issues with carbonation. One way to combat that is wax that shit, so the corks don't start flying off while it's sitting on the shelf. So, a couple different reasons that can happen, but this shit is thick. So you get to watch me struggle until we can actually get in here and actually get some beer out of this sucker. Yeah, this is damn thick wax. Makes me think there's going to be a carbonation issue. Only because I don't know why they would wax this like this. I mean, wax beers tend to sell a little bit better. But this is just straight up. Good God. Okay. Let's see if we can dig. Holy shit. Well, if this is your first beer review or you're ever watching of mine, then this is kind of typical fare for me. I am notorious for my long, drawn-out bottle opens, especially the wax ones. So you're getting a full massive beer review treatment today. Congratulations. This is really weird. This has to have carbonation issues. I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is waxed and taped. There's like tape here holding this cork on. Or not cork, cap on. That's really, really, really weird. And it's like that really, this kind of tape, this braided tape. I've never seen that in my life. I'm scared to open this bottle, to be perfectly honest with you. No wonder that was so hard to get open. That's so weird. I'm sorry, this is going to take a long time. I got to kind of pick at this for a little bit and kind of just see what else is. Yeah, that's weird. So, let's hope for the best on this one. I got to be quick on the pour maybe on this one. So she's rising. So she's not too bad. She's not shooting out. But she definitely had a bit of rise to her. Nothing too bad. So, yeah, I've never, ever, ever seen that before. Really bizarre. I don't know what to think about that, to be perfectly honest with you. It's a weird one. Like, why in the world would they do that? I don't know. Almost like, I don't know, maybe they're trying to devise a way to, like, make it easier to open. Like, actually have this on the outside of the wax where you can pull it like you would like a cigarette pack or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to obsess over that for probably the whole review, so I apologize. What do we have? Almost 3 fingers. Gravity-defying creaminess. A really nice kind of khaki-colored head. Rich creaminess all throughout. And that has that beautiful haze that I missed from the Grand Cru. When I get my real... My what's the word I'm looking for? My Mount Rushmore of Belgians. And there's more than 4, so that's a bad analogy or whatever. They always have this kind of murky doo-doo water, as I like to say to them. Whether they be a quad, a Belgian Strong Dark, or a double, they have this rich kind of hazy density. All you hop thoughts out there, you like that haze. Well, guess what? It's been around for a long time. It's called Belgians. So Belgian Darks, even triples, and the old schools have this nice haze to it. Their Grand Cru lack that. This has that. If I hold this up to some light, it's not the darkest beer in the history of mankind. It looks super dark, but it's just brown, but it's super hazy brown. So we're off to a really good start on this one, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm kind of fucking excited. Get a nose on her. She's sweet, but not super sweet. I couldn't tell you right now if it's if it's a brown sugar or more of a Belgian candied sugar kind of sweetness. It's just a nice kind of rich brown-ish kind of sweetness. Not caramel, not date figgy. I'm not getting really much dark fruit out of it, but I am getting those spices. But they're very soft in a good way. It doesn't smell like it's like underspiced. It smells like it's gently spiced, which I kind of like that. I want the beer to be the star of the show. And sometimes spiced beers, whether it be the Belgians, whether it be pumpkin beers, whether it be whatever, some people can get a little bit crazy with that shit. And here, I'm getting that clove. I'm getting like a nutmeg. I'm getting that kind of, that little bit of pepperiness, that coriander maybe. There's something else going on in there. It's not, what is that? It's not cinnamon, definitely not cinnamon. It's another kind of sweeter spice component going on in there. But yeah, it definitely has, as I said before I even opened it, a kind of gingerbread vibe without the ginger going on. So, but the big ones in there are your kind of coriander, nutmeg, and your clove. And clove's not super big. I can smell it. I'm super sensitive to it. It's one of my least favorite flavors, which you'd be like, then why do you like the Belgian Christmas stuff? But if it's used lightly, I kind of dig it. So, just going to dive in, see what she's got. Cheers. She's way more spicy in the taste than she is in the nose. A little bit bigger than I'd want it to be, but still not overly spiced. It's probably a little bit more in line what people expect spice-wise when it comes to these kind of beers. I just usually like to be a little bit lighter so the beer comes through more. Really nice mouthfeel to it. Beautiful, sweet, creamy, almost like porter-esque kind of mouthfeel. With spices, come through much bigger, like I said. I mean, nutmeg and clove are stars of the show here. And the clove's probably a little bit too big for my liking, but again, like I said, I'm sensitive to it. Nutmeg, I'm kind of okay with. That kind of coriander, peppery portion of the show, a little bit smaller. But that sweetness is, it's better for me. It's better than the Grand Cru was, but it's still kind of a little bit too kind of sweet. And by that I mean, usually the Belgian candied sugar tends to come off a little bit more of a fatty kind of rounded kind of sweetness as opposed to a sweet sugary kind of sweetness. This isn't as brown sugar straightforward, but it doesn't have that kind of round kind of bigness and robustness and kind of maturity that typically Belgian candied sugar does. The yeast in this seems to be, well, the second one that I've had from them. It's not playing much of a part in here. Usually the yeast is kind of what really drives a lot of these Belgian beers for me, because they end up giving me those dates and figs, those dark fruits, those kind of things. And it's very soft. It's very gentle. It's not as robust. Is it an age thing? It could be. A lot of Belgian beers tend to be quite a bit more robust in that yeast front. But you have to understand, a lot of times when we get, a Belgian dark or a Trappist quad or something like that, it's already months, maybe even a year. By the time it gets shipped here, and then, it's, containered, and then it's distributed and whole on, you might be looking at a year. This beer is probably relatively fresh. There's no real date code on there that I can discern. It says port 15317. I assume that's 153rd day of 2017. So you're looking about 3-4 months old if this is brewed right in the middle of the year or right around the beginning of summer. So it's only had a couple months on it. So you kind of don't let it get to its maturity. But I am drinking this the day before Halloween. So that means this beer is meant to be drank in about a month or so. So it's not going to change all that much in a month. Let's put it that way. But again, like I said, it did do the weird taped wax thing, which I never saw before. So I don't know if that's, I'm just telling you to age it a bit. Because I think this would actually be absolutely fucking killer a year from now. I think those spices would drop down a little bit. I think that yeast would come through a little bit. I think it would become a little bit more robust. So this is actually, I think I said this about their other beer, is a beer you want to wait on. But I think it's going to turn into something really nice. Yeah, great mouthfeel. Where I want my Belgian kind of darks. Not super darks. My lighter darks kind of edging on your doubles, because that's kind of where this one's floating. Exactly where I want the mouthfeel to be. Super creamy, fluffy, almost like pseudo-porter-esque. Spices are, while heavy, are nice. They're not overpowering. It's not kind of like, oh man, I can't finish this. Sweetness doesn't come off brown sugar, but doesn't come off Belgian candy, somewhere in between. And the yeast just kind of is lost in there somewhere. And it's just kind of a bummer, because if it did have some kind of rich kind of estery goodness to it, I think it would kind of make it an infinitely better beer. That's where the time comes in. I think this would end up becoming something fantastic. Like I said, I would love to try this with a year on it. I think it would be killer, and I think my tune would change dramatically. So if you like the beers that I drink, and you like, typically in line with the way I taste beers, then pick this up for sure. Open it Christmas 2018, because this shit will be fucking fantastic. So let's talk about it. It's one of the better Belgian Christmas beers. And when I say Belgian, I mean Belgian or Belgian style. Don't fucking rip my throat out for not saying Belgian style the whole time during this review. I know you fucking Belgian Nazis go freak out over that shit. But then again, I do everything weird. I refuse to say Dubel. I'm going to say double. I can't do that shit. I want to kick my own ass if I said stuff like that. So anyway, it's one of the better Belgian spiced Christmas beers I've had as of late. I haven't had that many. So default into that conversation. But let's say I did have a bunch, and if I'm going off memory over the past several years, it would be on the outside looking in, but it would be close. Let's put it that way. Give it a year or two, it could be a markedly different story. Value and availability, no idea. Maybe Ralph can chime in for us. And just say if you like what we like this. If you like Belgian Christmas beers. It's a very niche inside of a niche. For all you pronunciation Nazis, I'll go both ways on that one. some people love them, some people hate them. I know people that hate Belgian darks, that love Belgian Christmas spiced beers, and then I know people that love Belgians but can't stand Belgian Christmas beers. They look at them like beer snobs look at pumpkin beers. You know what I mean? I do like them. It depends on the brewer, depends on how they do them. I can definitely get down with them. So it depends on where you land on it. If you like the Belgian spice beers, you'll like this. If you like malt forward beers, and if you like gingerbread houses, but you don't like ginger, which wouldn't make sense, but it kind of makes sense in my brain because I don't like ginger, but I like gingerbread houses. If there's no ginger, anyway, I'm weird. If you like those kind of beers, it's definitely worth picking up. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Didn't, anywhere in between, down there, words and stuff and things. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, Massive Beers, all four of those places. And, yeah. Another review in the books. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully enjoying a nice Christmassy beer right now. And hope we'll see you next time. Cheers.